Part 39. I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 381. Hey, ants, I want to ask you something. Do you know where the temple disappeared? These 12 people were from the Sky Survey Department and Supervision Department of the Northern Territory of the Sky Empire. They came together to investigate the death of Patrol Angel Zhao Jin, and to investigate the reason why the experimental temple lost control. How dare you call me an ant? Today, I don't care whose heirs you are, I'm going to make you suffer. The blond old man roared angrily, and a golden spear appeared in his hand. The powerful force erupted with bursts of sonic booms as the spear was thrust out. Oh, I don't know how high the sky is. A young man among the 12 people stepped forward, and the spear thrust out by the blond old man was easily blocked with his palm. With this little strength, you dare to take action against me? The young man smiled disdainfully, then slapped him casually. Boom! The spear shattered inch by inch. The blond old man was also knocked upside down by this force. Lao Jin. Several other rank 9 old men hurriedly flew over to check on his injuries. It's too weak. Isn't there a stronger ant? The young man stood in the sky, his eyes full of arrogance. Listen to these extremely arrogant words. All the people guarding the city were silent. Jin Lao, who was invincible to them, was defeated by this young man so easily. And even the weapons were shattered. Who is this young man? Moreover, there are 11 others like him. If everyone had the strength of this young man, it would be too terrifying. This is too much. Seeing that his old friend was seriously injured and vomiting blood, an old man roared and went to kill him. Ant, no matter how angry you are still an ant. The young man stretched out his palm, and a white laser shot out. In just a moment, it pierced the heart of the old man who came to kill him. Old Lin. The remaining 2 rank -9 old men looked at the corpse of their friend and suddenly became angry. What? You also want to come here and die? The young man sneered and looked at the 2 of them. The 2 rank -9 old men held back the anger in their hearts and did not step forward rashly. They know that the gap between the 2 sides is too big. Even if everyone comes together, they will not be their opponents. At this time, a girl among the 12 people frowned and said, "Okay, we're here to investigate. Don't get too involved with these criminals." Hearing this, the young man shrugged and said, "It's boring, just for fun." Just for fun, it was so easy to hear this person say it. Everyone present was filled with anger. Just for fun, he casually broke the barrier against the extraterrestrial demons. Just for fun, he seriously injured Mr. Jin and killed Mr. Lin. These people are like ants and criminals, and they don't regard them as human beings at all. They only hated their lack of strength, and no matter how angry they were, they did not dare to take action against these 12 people. Oh, it's really boring. Let's go to the blue planet below to see if there is anything interesting. After the young man finished speaking, he took the lead and flew towards the blue planet below. But halfway through the flight, a halo of light stopped him outside. Even with his strength, he couldn't break through this barrier. Huh? You forgot, this is the place of exile, there is a skylocking formation. It's really troublesome, having to sit in the teleportation array. The young man flew back, looked at the 2 rank 9 old men and said, "Where is the teleportation array to this planet? Take us there." The 2 old men originally felt that the identities of these people were suspicious, but when they heard the other party calling their world this planet, a terrible thought came to both of them at the same time. These people were not from the Blue Star. I ask you, what are you thinking about? Do you want to die like him? Aaron, take them there. The 2 old men did not dare to stop them anymore. If they died, no one would be able to hold the gate. If the demon from outside the territory takes the opportunity to attack, Blue Star will be in danger. Aaron was the captain of a team guarding the city here. After hearing the order, he could only step forward to lead the way. You, follow me. The young man saw this and smiled, haha, that's right. I still prefer obedient ants. Dragon Kingdom, Mobile City. The cold wind is howling and snow is drifting thousands of miles away. Outside the north gate of Mobile City, 6 young men and women in armor looked at the snowstorm in the sky quietly. This scene attracted countless people in Mobile City to stop and watch. Who are these people? Isn't it cold to wear so little? It doesn't look like we are from the Dragon Kingdom. Are they going to the snowy restricted area? I heard that the hundreds of people who went to the snowy restricted area last time haven't come back yet. I think the whole army has been wiped out. Is it possible to enter and leave the snowfield restricted area at will? Behind the crowd, an old man carrying a gourd frowned and stared at the 6 people. I didn't expect people from the Sky Empire to come so quickly. These 6 people all wear sky armor, and their strength is definitely not comparable to that of the dead patrol angel. These 6 people have joined forces. I'm afraid I'm no match for them. I hope they don't find out anything. After thinking for a moment, the old man silently turned around and left. He couldn't stay in this place any longer, and if his strength was exposed, he wouldn't be able to escape. Guys, do you have any information? These 6 people are from the Sky Patrol Department. They came here after being separated from the people from the Supervision Department. 6 people from the Supervision Department went to the Dragon Kingdom's Far West Prefecture to investigate the experimental temple. I can't find it. There is something wrong with the snowfield. It can block our signal. But Zhao Jin's lifeline was extinguished inside. Let's go in and investigate. Several people nodded and flew into the snowfield. There is a temple located halfway in the snowfield. Governor Zhou was heading back with about 100 people. The 3 brothers and Bian who had their strength sealed by the Snow Clan's elder, and could only let Zhou Zhangzheng hold them away. The journey back was much easier than when we came here, at least there weren't so many monsters attacking everyone along the way. There's still 1 day to go, and we can return to Mobile City. Everyone, cheer up and be careful tonight. Zhou Zhang looked at everyone and shouted loudly. Good. Thank you, Brother Zhou. If it weren't for you this time, we wouldn't know how to get out. Yeah, I thought I was going to die in the snowfield this time. Everyone is still a little scared when they think about it now. This trip to the snowfield allowed them to see the cruelty of the snowfield and what it means that there is a world outside the sky and there are people outside the world. It was getting late now, and the wind and snow were getting heavier and heavier. Hey, there are actually quite a few people. 6 figures descended from the sky, and everyone stood up in shock and looked at these 6 people warily. Who are you? Zhou Zhang was walking over, looking at these mysterious people and asked. The 6 of them looked around and then looked at Zhou Changzheng. You are the strongest here. Let me ask you something. A blue light curtain was projected in front of the 6 people, and then Zhao Jin's figure appeared on it. Have you seen this person? I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with 1 knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 382. Zhou Changzheng looked at the projected photo given by the other party and was suddenly shocked. Isn't this the person who was killed by Senior Su? What are these people doing looking for him? Are they together? Zhou Changzheng looked at the people in front of him again. He couldn't see through the strength of these people. No, I can't expose Senior Su's identity. Zhou Zhangzheng thought for a while and shook his head. I haven't seen it before. Oh, is it so? If you dare to lie to us, do you know the consequences? I really haven't seen it. After hearing this, several people no longer looked at him, but looked at others and asked. Have you seen him? Who the hell are you? You little brats, don't you have any manners? You ask questions when you get here. What do you think we are? Brother Joe is polite. He spoils you, but we don't spoil you. Everyone looked at these young men and women with some displeasure. This time he acted very arrogantly, and he really thought of himself as a person, and they were not willing to serve him. After hearing these words, Joe Jong was trying to stop everyone from speaking before it was too late. Oh, sinners are sinners, and they dare to speak rudely to us. Okay, let me teach you what to do when you see the master in the future. One of the 6 people raised his finger, and a laser shot out, heading straight towards the people who had just spoken. Puff. Puff. Several sounds of piercing the body were heard, and the people who had just spoken all fell to the ground without making a sound. The whole place fell silent. After this person killed someone, he looked at everyone with cold eyes. Kneel down, all of them, or die. When many people saw this scene, their legs weakened and they knelt down. A few people could not bear the humiliation and did not kneel down immediately. Don't kneel? Then die. This person did not give them any extra chance and carried out the massacre again without saying a word. A dozen more figures fell on the snow. The bright red blood dyed the snowflakes on the ground red, which looked a bit shocking. Everyone in the camp fell to their knees, and no one dared to resist their orders. I won't shed tears until I see the coffin. Now, can you answer my question? Whoever dares to lie will end up in the same fate as them. Tell me, has anyone seen him? The crowd was silent for a while. They had seen this man before and were almost killed by him. If Suren hadn't taken action, they would be dead now. Zhou Zhongzhen didn't say they knew each other just now, and they didn't dare to say that they knew each other. If they knew each other, it would not only harm Zhou Changzhen, but also Suren. Without these 2 people, they would not have been able to get out of the snowfield alive. They were all lifesavers. Although they were desperados who came to the snowy plains for money, they also knew that their savior could not betray them. Therefore, no one spoke, everyone lowered their heads and remained silent. Several adults, we might know each other. At this time, the 3 brothers who were tied next to the camp spoke loudly. This might be their only chance to escape. Are you looking for another person named Patrol Angel? I heard them mention it on the road. Hearing this, the 6 people from the Tianqian division instantly came to the 3 brothers. You know the Patrol Angel, it seems you have met him. The 3 brothers nodded quickly. Yes, we know. When they were on their way back, they said that the Patrol Angel almost killed them. It was a man named Suren who killed the Patrol Angel and saved their lives. Upon hearing this, several people knew that this was the answer they were looking for. Several people turned around and looked at everyone in the camp, with a cold light flashing in their eyes. None of those who wanted to protect the murderer could be spared. You want to hide it from me and deceive me? It seems that you are not afraid of death, so I will give you a ride. When Zhou Zhongzhen heard the 3 brothers speaking, he knew something was wrong. Now that the people from the Tianxun division had said these words, he knew that he had no choice but to fight. Everyone, please stop kneeling, you will die no matter what, we will fight them. Zhou Zhongzhen was the first to stand up and rush towards the few people. Others naturally knew that these people were not ready to let them go. These people and the Patrol Angel were the same thing. Rather than sit back and wait for death, it is better to give it a try, maybe there is still a chance to survive. Looking at the hundreds of people rushing over, there was no trace of panic on the faces of the 6 people from the Tianxian division. The man who took action just now took a step forward, stretched out his right hand, and looked at these people as if they were dead people. Then he said indifferently, "Light of destruction." A surge of energy coursed through his body and focused on the armor on his hands. The energy suddenly amplified several times. This is the power increase brought by the air and space armor. The stronger the armor, the better the amplification effect. When the energy in his palm reached its limit, an unparalleled bright light penetrated the entire camp. Everyone who rushed over was incinerated by the strong light in an instant, leaving not even ashes behind. Zhou Changzheng, an 8th level professional, only resisted for a moment before being burned to ashes. The entire camp, including the hundreds of people, disappeared into thin air, leaving nothing but a ravine several meters deep on the ground that extended far into the distance. When the three brothers and Bianhua saw this horrific scene, their faces turned pale with fright and it became difficult to breathe. So many people couldn't even make a sound. In just an instant, they were all dead. Who are these people? They were also ruthless people, but this was the first time they saw this terrifying scene. The strength of this man was definitely the strongest among all the people they had ever seen. The elder of the Snow clan who captured them probably wouldn't be able to survive a single round in this man's hands. This man did all this without any emotion on his face, as if to him, this was a trivial matter. Tell me, who is Suren? This person looked at the three brothers and Bianhua again. The four people quickly told all the information they knew about Suren. He even didn't forget to explain the deep hatred between himself and Suren. Haha, interesting. It's still useful to keep you here. You'd better take us to find that Suren, otherwise, you know the consequences. Yes, I promise not to disappoint you, sir. The first round of the World Championship, in a small world. Suren and his team were killing monsters everywhere. At this time, Dragon Kingdom was already far ahead in points, far ahead of the second-place Xiong Kingdom. The beautiful country has withdrawn from this world competition early because all the contestants were killed. Sakura country also did not participate in the World Championship due to the change of emperor. So the battle for first place became a battle between the Dragon Kingdom and the Bear Kingdom. In the arena, hundreds of thousands of spectators watched in stunned silence as Suren led the team to crush the monsters. Everyone looked numb. Longuo couldn't afford it, so why did he call Suren here? How does this make the contestants from their country play? The two sides are not on the same level at all. Rather than competing for first place, it is better to say that we are competing for second place. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 383. At the end of the first day of competition, the Dragon Kingdom team easily won the first place in points under the leadership of Suren. And broke the points record in the first round of the World Championship. The entire game was uneventful and without any surprises. After media reports, Suren's name was completely resounding all over the world. This World Championship was also considered by major media to have entered garbage time ahead of schedule. There is basically no suspense that Longuo will win the first place. This is the first time in previous World Championships that the champion can be seen on the first day. Outside the competition venue, media from various countries crowded around the Dragon Kingdom team, scrambling to interview them. Hello, Suren. First of all, congratulations on winning the first place in points in the first round and breaking the world record. Is there anything you want to say to everyone? Suren looked at the camera and smiled. Read more newspapers, eat less snacks and sleep more. Reporter. Player Suren, I have another question. How did you achieve such great strength at this age? Do you have any tips you can share with everyone? Suren, there is no secret, just talent and hard work. Suren didn't say a word, and he was cheating. Half an hour later, Wu Zhenyang stopped many reporters and media and said, "Okay, friends from the media, the players need to rest for tomorrow's game. Today's interview ends here." On the bus back to the hotel, except for Suren, Everyone else looked excited. This is my first time being surrounded by so many people for an interview. My hands are still shaking now. Me too, I stuttered a little when I was being interviewed just now. Wu Zhenyang looked at a few people with a smile. Okay, you should learn from Suren. He is younger than you, so he doesn't panic at all. Hearing this, several people smiled bitterly and said, how can we compare with senior brother Suren? We may never experience what he has experienced in our lifetime. Yes, there is a huge gap between us and senior brother Suren. Wu Zhenyang was also stunned after hearing this. Why wasn't he like this? Although he is an 8th level professional, he is also the president of the first guild in the Dragon Kingdom. But compared with Suren's experience, I'm afraid it's a lot worse. Maybe, some people are born to be protagonists, Wu Zhenyang sighed in his heart. In the manner of Grand Duke Quibo. The housekeeper sent people to investigate for a day, but there was still no clue to prove that the Weir people died at the hands of others. He knew that Grand Duke Jibo would never accept this result. However, he still had to tell him this. In the hall. Grand Duke, the results are out. The housekeeper bowed and looked at the old man in front of him. Grand Duke Kibo sat on the sofa and watched the TV report about today's World Championship. Who killed my son? Grand Duke Gibert asked calmly. Grand Duke, according to the investigation results, His Highness and the others eventually died at the hands of Underworld, and no one else took action. The butler's body bowed deeper at this time. He knew what terrible waves were hidden behind Grand Duke Jibo's seemingly calm appearance. After hearing this, Grand Duke Jibo was silent for a long time, and then said coldly. In that case, let everyone in the South Island bury my son with him. When the second round starts tomorrow, launch that secret weapon and sink the entire South Island. As soon as these words came out, the housekeeper sighed helplessly. If someone discovers that they have done such unscrupulous things, they will definitely die without a burial place. This time, they offended all countries in the world. Dragon Kingdom, Mobei City. The 6 members of the Tianxian division returned here overnight with the 3 brothers and Bian Huawa. The 3 brothers were surprised to find that they did not die outside the shelter of the temple at night. There were no nightmares coming out to attack them. The people from the Tianxun division seemed to see through their doubts and couldn't help but sneered. The nightmare is just a restriction imposed by the empire on your exile. The purpose is to prevent you from having too much time to practice and upgrade your realm. You don't think that thing is useful to us, do you? If the people in Blue Star are computer data, then the nightmare is a virus that appears at night and is responsible for cleaning this data. Protected by the antivirus software of Temple, viruses cannot invade. You will be safe if you stay within the protection of the temple at night, but you will die if you go out. This is why you can't go out of the city at night. I see. The brothers followed the people from the Tianxian division and learned some of the truth about this world. But the more they understand the truth, the more desperate they become. These people from the Sky and Sky Empire were so powerful that they couldn't even think of resisting. We'll stay here tonight. You'd better take us to find Suren early tomorrow morning, otherwise. The person from the Tianxun division did not continue. As a result, they naturally knew it. Several people arrived at the largest hotel in Mobei City and walked straight in. Gentlemen and ladies, do you have an appointment? The service staff at the front desk looked at a few people and asked with a smile. Okay, us the best suite, and we won't give you less money. The eldest of the 3 brothers stood up and said. Sorry sir, the best suite is already occupied. How about changing? Before the front desk clerk finished speaking, several people from the Tianxian division snorted coldly. Let everyone go away, I will kill anyone who dares to stay here. I only give them a minute. The 3 brothers quickly retreated after hearing this. These people are even more unreasonable than they are, and they don't regard the people of this world as human beings at all. This move of several people naturally caused dissatisfaction among the residents. How could they be willing to drive them away so late at night, and on such a cold day? As a result, the hotel suddenly became a river of blood and the hall was filled with corpses. These 6 people from the Tianxian division never give anyone the time to reason. If you dare to disobey their orders, you will die. The sinners don't have the consciousness of the sinners, they are looking for death. A few people went upstairs to rest as if nothing had happened. There were only 2 front desk staff left in the lobby, shivering in the corner. Even the lobby manager who came out to reason and break up the fight was killed by them. The 3 brothers glanced at Bianhua, and all 4 of them looked a bit unhappy. These people kill people at every turn and are much crueler than them. With their characters, and the fact that the 4 of them know so much truth about the world, maybe they will kill the 4 of them to silence them after finding Suran. But now they don't dare to escape, so they can only bite the bullet and stay here. This night was destined to be a difficult night for them. Wait until everyone went upstairs. One of the 2 front desk staff said in a trembling voice. Should we report it to the Ministry of Defense? Another person nodded and said. Report. Little did they know that their move directly killed people in Mobei City. That night, after receiving the news, people from the Ministry of Defense surrounded the Mobei Hotel in full force. Listening to the noise below, a cold snort came from a room in the hotel. Noisy. A bright light pierced the night sky and radiated around the Mobei Hotel. Everything the strong light encountered, whether it was people or buildings, was incinerated. The entire Mobei city, except for the Mobei Hotel and the temple, was directly razed to the ground. I hate it when people disturb my sleep. Without these ants to disturb me, it's much quieter now. I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 384. No one knows about Mobeichen. The world's eyes are now on the World Championship. However, there are also several high-level officials of major powers who have received news from Zhishangguan. There are aliens from the sky who have entered Blue Star, and their strength far exceeds rank 9. Dragon Kingdom, Kyoto. Looking at the message from Zhishangguan, the king frowned and was thinking about something. Everyone around the king couldn't help but worry. My lord, the person who came here is not a good person. According to the information, the strength of these people is probably not much different from the group of women who came by flying boat last time. Faced with that kind of strength, everyone in the world combined cannot be their opponent. What should I do? I don't know where these people come from. What is their purpose? At this time, everyone is in danger. The last incident made them realize that this extraordinary power was far beyond what they could resist. Unexpectedly, not long after, a group of people with strength beyond rank 9 appeared again. Okay, everyone, just be quiet. Panicking now is not going to solve the problem. The king looked at everyone and said in a deep voice. Now, the only person who can possibly solve the problem is one person. When others heard this, they couldn't help but think of a young man in their hearts. The king is talking about Suran. Good. After the king nodded, he continued. Only Suran has the power beyond 9 turns. If he can't fight against these people, then we can only pray that the other party won't mess around. As soon as the king finished saying this, someone quickly ran in from outside and reported. Master of the country, ladies and gentlemen, Mobei City has lost contact. Everyone was shocked when they heard this and asked. What happened? Mobei City, just now, has been disconnected from the communication center, and the teleportation array leading to Mobei City has also lost its function. We also don't know what's going on. However, several photos were sent from the Network Information Security Department, saying they were intercepted from the internet before Mobeichen lost contact. This person took out the photo, which was the camera used by the 6 people from the Tianxian division to massacre the hotel guests. It's them. Everyone took a look and recognized at a glance that these 6 people were the 6 of the 12 people who broke through Zishan Pass today. What do these inhumane guys want? Master, if you don't withdraw from Kyoto first, I'm afraid they will come looking for you. Yes, Lord, let's stay away from the edge for now. It's better to stay away from Kyoto for the time being. Snort. The king snorted coldly and glanced at everyone. Are you so afraid of death? If I leave, what will the world think of us? This. Everyone lowered their heads and remained silent. An old man stood up and persuaded. Master, it's okay not to leave, but you still have to avoid it. A country cannot live without a king for a day. If you fall, who will take charge of the overall situation in the Dragon Kingdom? At first glance, these people regard our lives as nothing. If we conflict with them head-on, we will not get any benefits. If they come to Kyoto, we will hide in the small world first and then make plans later. Also, I need to inform Suren as soon as possible about this matter. Maybe he is the only one who can prevent this disaster. After hearing this, everyone agreed with what the old man said. Seeing this, the king had no choice but to nod his head and said, "Contact Suren immediately and tell him the whole story." "Yes, Lord, let's do it now." In the main hall of the night god cult, all the capable officers of the Yeshen cult gathered here. Sitting on the main seat of the main hall was not the leader of the night god cult, but the night god who was shrouded in black mist. "You must not go out and walk around these days. Please go down and tell all the congregants that if they see these 12 people, they must not have any interaction with them." 12 figures from the Sky Patrol Division and the Supervision Division appeared in front of Yeshen. "Lord Yagamai, who are these people?" everyone asked curiously. Night God replied. "The envoy sent by the Sky and Sky Empire is investigating something. You don't need to know too much, you just need to know and don't provoke them. If the matter is exposed, I will not forgive you. Also, I see that Suren is collecting raw energy stones. He seems to want to go to the outside world to save his woman? I can only say that he is whimsical. Why would he want to rescue someone who was captured by the ruthless palace? How ridiculous." Yeshen finished speaking to himself, then looked at the people in the hall and said, "Since he wants to go out, you only need to wait for him to clear the way in front, and then you can follow him and leave this place. Okay, I will notify you when the time comes. Just wait here for my good news." After Yeshen finished speaking, he turned into a black mist and broke through the space and left here. "Haha, you don't think the Sky Empire is very strong, do you? By the way, let me tell you that the Sky Empire is just a relatively good small force under the Wandeo Immortal Palace. They make a variety of powerful weapons and armor to enhance their strength. A powerful empire that controls dozens or even hundreds of galaxies. The Sky and Sky Empire likes to study the power of technology. This is an empire where magic and technology coexist. And the person Suren wants to save is also the person he wants to save." Suren was lying on the bed in the hotel, asking Jingling about the Sky and Sky Empire. The Milky Way where Blue Star is located is one of the 18 galaxies in the northern region of the Sky Empire. And the ruthless Jew Palace you are looking for is not much worse than the 10,000 Deo Immortal Palace. How terrifying is the strength required to do this? It's definitely difficult. He just heard Yeshen talking to himself. It turned out that Suren was leaving Blue Star to save people. Now this wish is about to come true. Each domain controls dozens of galaxies. But, so what? I may not lose to them. His subordinates control more than trillions of creatures. After listening to Jingling's introduction, Suren still felt a little shocked. Their armor can at least increase the strength of the person wearing it dozens of times. Do you need raw energy stones? Then I will help you once. I hope you can succeed. Jingling said with a smile, compared with the forces in the Sky Realm, the Sky Empire is just like that. The Sky and Sky Empire is a very powerful force, and it is different from other forces. Everyone in the hall looked excited at this time, being able to leave this prison and go to a wider world, thereby becoming stronger and extending their lifespan. The leader of the Yeshen cult began to make silent calculations in his mind. There are tens of thousands of forces like the Sky and Sky Empire under the Wandeo Immortal Palace. According to Jingling, the Sky and Sky Empire is divided into 4 major regions: East, West, North, and South. Arakika, South Island. No one knows how far their technology has been developed. In the hall, only the leader of the Yagod sect was a little distracted. For thousands of years, the Sky and Sky Empire has been conducting experiments on criminals from various exiled places. Suren heard this and nodded. Now you know how difficult what you have to do is, right? In other words, a person who is in the early stage of the previous realm wearing a sky armor may be stronger than a person who is in the late stage of the previous realm. This is their only wish to voluntarily join the Night God cult. The top armor can even cross a large realm. I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 385. Seeing that Suren was so confident, Jingling did not attack him. After all, she also needs Suren's help to retrieve the body fragments, and she also wants revenge. After exiting the pet space, Suren's cell phone, which had not been ringing for a long time, suddenly lit up. Suren thought Xiao Ding had collected raw energy stones in advance. He picked up the phone and saw that it was a message from the special contact number of the leader of the Dragon Kingdom. This number can only be used with the personal permission of the leader of the Dragon Kingdom. Suren opened the message and looked at it in confusion. Half a minute later, Suren turned off the phone. I didn't expect people from the Sky Empire to come so quickly. They should be here to find me. I am participating in the World Championships. If they watch the news, they will know that I am here. There shouldn't be any danger in Dragon Kingdom Kyoto. Suren thought for a while and sent a text message back. I killed one of their patrol angels. They should have come to find me. Just ask them to come to the South Island. Don't stop them. They have long been arrogant towards these people from the Sky and Sky Empire. If they were to stop them, it would anger them and cause unnecessary losses. Suren is not afraid of them and is ready to welcome their arrival in the South Island. The next morning. Mobei Hotel. At this time, Mobei City had disappeared, leaving only ruins. The 6 members of the Tianxian division walked out of the hotel expressionlessly, glanced at the brothers and said, "Are you sure that Suren is on some southern island at this time?" "Sure, we can guarantee it." The brothers nodded quickly. "We saw the news yesterday that Suren was participating in the World Championships in South Island. Today is the 2nd day of the competition. He will definitely participate." "That's good. Sir, please let us live. We have told you everything we know." 4 people knelt on the ground crying and begging for mercy. "Certainly." When the 4 of them heard this, they thought it was interesting. But the next second, the 4 of them felt the air getting colder. No. The 4 of them wanted to talk again, but 4 strong beams of light shot out, destroying the 4 of them and the Mobei Hotel behind them. The 4 of them didn't even have a chance to escape. "Sorry, you know too much. Do you really think that if we find Suren, we will let you go? That's too naive." The 6 members of the Tianxian division looked indifferent. After checking the direction, they flew towards the east. In their eyes, these people are worse than dogs. This is a galaxy governed by the Sky and Sky Empire. They don't have to bear any responsibility for killing these criminals. If you can use it, use it. If it has no use value, just kill it casually. The second round of the World Championship officially began amidst the roar of hundreds of thousands of spectators. All the teams that entered the top 50 with points yesterday were standing on the stage. In this arena, only 8 teams can exist in the end. So this is a very intense and most enjoyable part to watch. 50 teams fight on their own. Except for your team members, everyone else is your enemy. If you want to stay in the ring and advance to the next round, you need not only strength, but also a complete plan. After all, a hero cannot stand up to a pack of wolves. If he is attacked at the beginning, the chance of being eliminated will be greatly increased. The rules don't say you can't secretly form alliances to deal with others together. For example, right now, as soon as they took the stage, at least 20 teams slowly surrounded the Dragon Kingdom team. Other teams that did not participate silently retreated. Everyone knows that if there are no accidents, the Dragon Kingdom team will become the champion of this World Championship. Now the situation seems to have reversed. The team headed by Xiangguo is organizing more than 20 teams to prepare to besiege the Dragon Kingdom's team. Senior brother Suran, what should we do? They want to deal with us first. They are so shameless. There are at least 20 teams here. Can we beat them? Several people in the team were a little panicked. The space for maneuvering in the arena is limited, so even if you have the strength, you may not be able to perform it. Coupled with hundreds of people attacking together, they may not be able to deal with it at all. Don't be afraid, just wait until the game starts. Suren decided to end the World Championship directly in this round. Not to mention the more than 20 teams joining forces, it would be useless even if other teams join in. Whether it's a promise or for the raw energy stone. He is determined to win the World Championship. Okay, gentlemen and ladies. The host rose into the air, stood high above the arena and said loudly. In the second round of this World Championship, the battle for hegemony is about to begin. I don't need to explain the rules too much. I think everyone is very clear about them. If you want to advance to the next round, fight with all your heart and fight until you have no regrets. Now, I announce that the second round of competition has officially begun. As the host's voice fell, the audience screamed and cheered. The sound passed through the arena and spread far and wide. After the 5 members of the Xiong Kingdom looked at each other, they nodded and roared. Go together. The 5 of them were the first to charge towards the Dragon Kingdom team. The other allied teams saw this and rushed over together. Oh my God, what did I see? The host raised the microphone high and shouted loudly. More than 20 teams, including the Bear Country team, the Eagle Country team, and the Asan team, all launched a charge at the Dragon Country team at the same time. It seems that they are planning to work together to eliminate the favorites for the championship first. Although it is shameful, it is indeed a good decision. After all, this Dragon Country team is too strong. I just don't know if the Dragon Kingdom team can withstand this charge. Let's wait and see. At this time, the entire audience also focused their attention on the Dragon Kingdom representative team. I saw Suren taking a step forward calmly. Then he opened his palms in front of the more than 20 rushing teams, and then gave a gentle push. An unparalleled storm suddenly blew up in the field. Is this? What happened? The host wiped his eyes and said in shock. Oh my God, all the more than 20 representative teams including Xiangguo were blown out of the ring. Oh, no. It's not just them, the other 20 or so teams have also been blown away. They must also fall out of the ring soon. All of this, did Suren do it? Is he trying to kill the game the next day? Oh my God, he single-handedly eliminated all the contestants. Now, there are only 5 members of the Dragon Kingdom team left in the arena. This all happened so fast, how can a man do it so fast? The host roared at the top of his lungs. This is the first time he has encountered such an outrageous thing since presiding over the World Championship. This scene almost made him fall from the sky. It ended the next day, so how could he host the rest of the game? At this time, the audience in the stands were also numb. WTF? Oh my god, what is going on? Suren must have used the legendary move. Tornado destroys parking lot. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 386. At this time, the World Committee referees were gathering together to discuss this troublesome issue. According to the normal process, each team must eliminate each other until there are 8 teams left before the game ends today. But Suren's interference directly changed the game. If we follow the rules, except for the Dragon Kingdom team, all other teams have been eliminated. But there can't be only one first place in a competition and no second or third place, right? I propose that the other eliminated teams rematch individually, and the Dragon Kingdom team does not need to compete in the following games. The championship will be awarded directly to them. It's fair and reasonable for other teams to compete for second and third place. I wonder what you guys think. I agree. Okay, I agree. The referees and the heads of the World Committee also expressed their agreement with this decision. At the same time, the host also received the news. Okay everyone, I kept you waiting. After the decision of the World Committee, the championship of this World Championship will be won by the Dragon Kingdom team. However, don't leave in a hurry. The World Committee has decided that other eliminated teams will have another chance to compete again for the second or third place. Now, let us congratulate the Dragon Kingdom team with the warmest applause for winning this World Championship. The award ceremony will be held tomorrow after the second and third place are decided. After hearing the news that they could rematch, the dejected national teams regained a smile on their faces. They had been preparing hard for a year, but they encountered such a perverted opponent as Suren. Even if so many people join forces, they can only be ruthlessly crushed by the other party. It's a deep sense of despair. Facing Suren, they had no chance of winning. Now that they have the opportunity to rematch, even if they are just competing for second or third place, they will not give up. On the ring, the 4 people behind Suren looked excitedly at the cheering crowd around them. They knew that they would definitely win the championship by following Suren, but they didn't expect that the championship would come so quickly. The championship was announced before the game was over, which is also a unique thing in the history of the World Championship. Haha, we won. We are the champion. Several people shouted loudly, venting their excitement. Suren felt no fluctuation in his heart at this time. He had already thought of this situation when he came, and it was not an exciting thing for him. Let's go down, others will continue to play. Just as Suren was about to take a few people off the ring, he suddenly looked up at the sky above the venue. Call out. A silver-white missile about 10 meters in size fell from the sky and flew straight towards the center of the stadium. After the missile arrived not far above the arena, countless bright lights were released from its interior. Boom! A deafening explosion sounded. Endless flames soared into the sky, instantly flooding the entire South Island. The seawater around the South Island was surged in all directions by the shock wave generated by the explosion. The dry seabed, mushroom clouds rising into the sky, endless fire. The South Island seems to be in the end of the world. In the manner of Grand Duke Quibo. The steward bowed and reported. Grand Duke, the target has been hit. Ha ha ha, okay. My father has asked them to bury you with you. No matter who killed you, my father has avenged you. Grand Duke Gibber looked crazy and couldn't wait to read tomorrow's newspaper. He was very satisfied with this masterpiece. The housekeeper glanced at him and sighed in his heart. He didn't know whether Grand Duke Jibo wanted to avenge his son, Or did he want to take this opportunity to test the power of the secret weapon? There are many 8-level professionals on the South Island. If everyone on the South Island dies, it proves that this secret weapon has the ability to kill high-level professionals. This is definitely a weapon that can change the world. Because the launch of this weapon does not require a professional to control it, any ordinary person can control it. Thousands of miles away from the South Island, 6 people from the Sky Patrol Division rushed here and looked at each other in surprise when they saw this scene. Isn't this an Empire's aerial explosive bomb? Did you kill Zhao Jin? It seems that we have come to the right place. There are indeed criminals here who break the restrictions. And looking at the power of this explosion, it is much worse than a real aerial bomb. The people in the Tianxian division were not afraid at all. It didn't matter who did it, and they didn't need to explain so much. But I didn't expect these people to be so inhumane, killing hundreds of thousands of people just because they wanted to catch themselves. It turns out that except for this competition venue, other buildings in South Island have long been reduced to ashes. Haha, so what if we did it? Let me ask you, were you the ones responsible for the explosion just now? I saw Suran facing them in the air, looking at them with cold eyes. Did you do the explosion just now? Could it be that the people from the supervision department arrived early? Suran didn't say anything. He decided to let them know what it means to face the fear of death but be unable to change. Are you that Suran? The power of this air-to-air bomb can really be achieved. Just as the 6 people were about to take action to destroy the people below, a cold voice sounded behind them. That's strange. Although air-to-air explosive bombs are not high-end items, they are unlikely to appear in this place. Several people nodded when they heard this. To them, the distance of thousands of miles was just a blink of an eye. Suren nodded upon hearing this. Sinking the South Island is not just talk. Very well, you can go and die. Since they regard people in this world as ants, Suren wants to let them know who is the ant at the last moment. At this time, the smoke, dust, and fire had not dissipated, but it could be barely seen that the entire South Island had been razed to the ground, and even part of the island had cracked. The sea water that was shaken away poured back and violently slapped the cracked land of the South Island. At the moment of the explosion, Suren used his words to put a defensive shield on the entire venue, thus ensuring the safety of everyone here. But if you want to blow up these people who are not at the previous level, it is more than enough. The 6 members of the Tianxian division looked at the competition hall below and said softly. Large chunks of soil fell into the sea with the waves. Seeing the faces of these people and the armors they wore, Suren already knew who they were. This aerial bomb caused no casualties, which fully illustrates the problem. No, I just saw their location for the first time. They are still in the west and have not come over. Let's go and have a look. If Suren died in such an explosion, he would never be the target we are looking for. When the 6 people heard the sudden sound, they were startled and turned around to look. In the next second, several people were already standing over South Island. But when the smoke and dust had almost dispersed, bursts of exclamations and shouts came from below. How can such a thing exist on this planet? I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 387. Haha, do you really think you will be invincible if you kill a patrol angel? If you think we are like Zhao Jin, you are totally wrong. Suren's face still showed no fluctuation, and he said calmly. Oh? Really? You are no different to me. Humph, arrogant. Today I will let you know what the gap is. The leader of the 6 people was covered in armor. Under the surge of power within his whole body was like a small glowing sun. Go to hell, God will destroy you. His move, with the blessing of the sky armor, was enough to instantly kill anyone in the upper realm. Even people in the upper 3 realms will be injured if they don't avoid it. Endless light burst out, and even the sun in the sky became eclipsed at this time. In the stadium, everyone who originally looked up at the sky had to lower their heads and close their eyes tightly to prevent themselves from being burned by the strong light. Suren stood there, motionless, letting the calamity light from the sky rush towards him. "Oh, you ignorant sinners dare to resist my divine calamity and seek death." The other members of the Tianxun division also stood there as if they were watching a show. I thought it would be a difficult opponent, but I didn't expect it to be solved so easily. This also saves them from taking action again. Are you overconfident? A black hole half a meter in diameter appeared in front of Suren. The calamity light from the sky rushed over and was sucked into the black hole in an instant. What? This is a black hole. You. How could you possibly master such a thing? The 6 members of the Tianxian division looked at the black hole in front of Suren, with extremely shocked expressions in their eyes. Even their empire cannot control this thing. The most they can do is study its structural properties from a distance. Now, this black hole actually appears in the hands of a criminal, and depending on the situation, the other party can perfectly control the black hole. Impossible. Who are you? You can never be from this world. Suren looked at the frightened looks of several people and smiled. Are you so afraid of this thing? I'll give it to you to play with. After Suren finished speaking, he threw the black hole in his hand towards several people. Buzz. The strong gravity directly tore and distorted the surrounding space. If Suren hadn't controlled its gravitational range, even though the black hole was only half a meter in diameter, if it really let go of its shackles, it could tear the entire blue star into pieces and engulf it. The 6 members of the Tianxian division wanted to escape when they saw this, but how could they possibly escape? The terrifying gravity first tore apart their proud armor, and then the first person was slowly torn into pieces starting from his feet and fell into the black hole. Then came the second, then the third. They were swallowed up without even being able to scream. No. The fourth and fifth were also torn into pieces and sucked in. It wasn't until the 6th time that Suren took back the black hole. May I have your name? Suren looked at the girl in front of him who was already soaked with sweat, and asked coldly. My name is Yun 11. The girl replied with a trembling voice, no longer as cold and arrogant as before. At this time, it was trembling like an overly frightened quail. Yungzi, right? Where are the other 6 people who came with you? Suren knew from the information received last night that there were 12 people in this group. There were only 6 people here now, and he needed to find the other 6, so he spared this person's life. Since these 12 people came together, there must be a way to communicate between them. Yun 11 knew that if she told her, those 6 people would definitely die. So, she hesitated. Huh? It seems that you two have a deep relationship, so you can go and die. No. Yun 11 roared. Spare me. I just followed them on the mission. I have never killed anyone. Please spare me. I'll tell you their location, and I'll take you there right away. Don't kill me, please, don't kill me. Yun 11 seemed to be on the verge of collapse. Her body was shaking uncontrollably and she could hardly speak. When death came to her, she learned what fear was. Seeing her look like this, Suren just said 2 words lightly. Lead the way. Yes, come with me. Yun 11 forced herself to cheer up and flew to the west with Suren. Is this your daughter? The Lord of Jixi City raised his head, his eyes full of pleading. Inside the room and outside the room seemed to be 2 worlds. In front of them, 4 or 5 people were kneeling. I'll ask you one last time, do you want to tell me, or not? In the stadium, hundreds of thousands of people stood there in silence, forgetting what they were going to do. How do you want me to spare you? Tell me, how come you, a local controller, don't even know what's going on in your own territory? Outside the city lord's palace, the bodies of the people from the defense department were laid out on the ground, all of them fatal with one blow. The structure of the South Island is unstable at this time, and there is a possibility of collapse and sinking at any time. Everyone, please leave here in an orderly manner and take refuge in Alakjia first. Behind him stood 5 young men and women also wearing armor. The young man reached out to pick up the little girl and then turned back to the seat, still teasing the little girl from time to time. Childlike laughter filled the room. Look, you're still being stubborn. No, do not want. A young man in battle armor sat on the city lord's chair with his legs crossed. I really don't know when that temple disappeared. Please let us go. Finally, the host picked up the microphone and shouted. Damn, it's not easy to make some money. I almost lost my life here. What you did makes me very unhappy. Come on, let me hug you. I like children the most. They are not like you older and more thoughtful people. They are more innocent and cute. The South Island is about to sink. If they don't move faster, they may be buried under the sea. The young man stood up and walked to the Lord of Jixi City, then looked at the little boy next to him who was a few years old. Look, your daughter is so cute. It would be a pity if she had some shortcomings. The little girl was ignorant and was amused by him. The South Island was destroyed, and now only this one venue and the temple are left. The host finished cursing and flew away quickly. Dragon Kingdom, Jixi Prefecture, in the palace of the city lord of Jixi City. The South Island has suffered an unknown attack. Please don't panic. After a temporary decision by the World Committee, this World Championship has ended. After the host finished speaking, he was the first to drop the microphone and fly into the air. Never take this kind of job again next time. The young man touched the little girl's head with a sigh, then looked at the Lord of Extreme West City and said. The young man looked at him and shook his head with a smile. As soon as these words came out, the crowd suddenly became chaotic. I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 388. I really don't know. I beg you, please let my daughter go. The Lord of Jixi City knelt on the ground and grabbed the ground with his head. Ming Sheng, it seems like he really doesn't know. A person behind the young man spoke. Really? Ignorance is also a sin. The young man named Ming Sheng stretched out his hand and covered the little girl's Tianling Gai. Since these people don't know, then just kill them all. Huh? People from the Tianxian division are approaching us. There is only one person, and judging by his identity, he is the one named Yun 11. Several people looked at the communication information coming from their arms and couldn't help but feel a little confused. Ming Sheng, who was about to take action, stopped when he heard this and asked in confusion. What is she doing here alone? Where are the others in the Tianxian division? Ming Sheng, something's not right. All the other people in the Tianxian division have lost contact. I'll contact Yun 11 and ask her what's going on. After a while, Yun 11 replied. She said that a man named Suren killed the patrol angel Zhao Jin, and he also captured the experimental temple. They're already here. As soon as the words fell in the room, several people from the supervision department felt their bodies stiffen and they could no longer move. The door opened and Suren walked in slowly, followed by Yun 11 who looked frightened. Suren. Suren nodded towards him, walked up to the young man and took the little girl from his hand. Then she was returned to the Lord of Jixi City. I'm sorry for causing you any trouble. You take your people out of this building first and I'll take care of it. This matter was caused by Suren taking away the temple. Looking at the corpses outside the door, Suren felt guilty. Yun 11 looked at the young man in front of her with fear. He just said the word fix outside. The 6 people from the supervision department in the room stayed motionless in the room. She had never heard of this miraculous ability. Could it be that a person of the Saint Sun level in the heavenly realm came here to experience or play in the exiled land? Yun 11 didn't know that Suran's image in her heart had become an invincible person. She had never seen anyone so terrifying. At this time, the 6 people in the supervision department had already felt huge waves in their hearts. Why can't they even resist? Who is this young man? You can talk now. I will ask and you will answer. Suran's voice sounded in the room. Who sent you? My grandfather. Master Minjao Tian. The young man sitting on the chair gave a different answer than the other 5, but the result sounded the same. Suran glanced at the young man. No wonder he could sit while these people could only stand. It turned out to be a related account. According to the news from the king, outside Zishan Pass, it was also the 9th level professional he killed. If he hadn't arrived quickly just now, the city lord and his family might not have been able to escape death. This person, like the people in the Tianxian division, regards human life as nothing but trivial matter and does not care about the lives of others at all. Suran didn't want to see this kind of person for a moment. Yungzi. I'm here. She didn't know why Suran suddenly called her, but she had no choice but to step forward. Give you a chance to live, kill him. What? Yun 11 glanced at the young man, his eyes full of resistance. This is the grandson of the director of the Northern Territory Supervision Department. If she kills him, her family will definitely be eradicated. Even if I gave her 10,000 courages, she wouldn't dare to do it. Several people from the supervision department also widened their eyes at this time, but they were unable to move and could not resist at all. What? Didn't I make it clear enough? I asked you to kill him. Kill him and I'll give you a chance to live. Whether you can survive depends on whether you dare to fight for this opportunity. Yun 11 was struggling in her heart. If she didn't take action, she would die immediately. She didn't want to die. But once she takes action and is found out, her whole family will be implicated. Ah! Yun 11 roared crazily, the armor in his hand glowed brightly, and fired a laser at the young man's head. A fist-sized hole instantly appeared on the young man's forehead. He never imagined until his death that he would die here, in the hands of his own people. Suran looked past his body and looked at the others. Everyone Suran saw had their heartbeats soaring. If they were not unable to move, they would have collapsed and trembled. You, send a message to your headquarters, saying that you have caught the person who destroyed the temple, and you can go back within 7 days. Not only did this young man not think about escaping, he actually wanted to go to the Northern Territory. We'll talk about it then. Farewell, everyone. After Suran finished speaking, he took one step and left here. Suran was a little impatient and killed him with a knife. Hearing this, Suran frowned. Boom. But no one on Blue Star is their opponent, and Suran can't stay here forever to protect them. Hearing Suran's words, the expressions of the remaining people present changed dramatically. The explosion sounded, and the whole room exploded. The citizens of Jixi City were shocked by the explosion and looked from a distance. They didn't know what happened in the city lord's mansion. Yun 11, how dare you betray the empire? I'm sorry everyone, I want to live, but you are the only ones who will die. I believe you will make the right choice. Suran pointed at a random person and said. If that's the case, then I'll be the guest. Is he crazy? Does he want to fight against the empire alone? It seems that if we want to completely solve the problem, we can only overturn their old lair. The reason for doing this is because they are afraid that the other party will send people to investigate again and cause more trouble. You killed Ming Sheng and those people from the Tianxian division. They already knew about it. She had already killed the grandson of the director of the supervision department, and she didn't care about killing a few more at this time. Yun 11 knew that she had no way out. Suren was asking her to surrender. The Sky and Sky Empire definitely has the power to destroy a planet. He didn't expect that the other party had such a thing. It seemed that he had already been exposed when he killed the people from the Tianxian division. After the man resumed his actions, he begged for mercy and asked Suren to give him a way out. Moreover, now that the grandson of the director of the supervision department is dead, Suren is really afraid that the other party will destroy Blue Star if nothing is done. The only person who could speak roared loudly. Thinking of this, Suren had a headache, but he was not afraid of these people. It's useless. Both us and the people from the Tianxian division have life lamps. Yun 11, kill them all. Then wait for me here. I will need you to lead the way to the Northern Territory in a few days. Even if I send this news back, they won't believe it. Then he looked at the next person. If you dare to kill us, your whole family will be liquidated by the Empire. The other party might have gathered its forces again to attack Blue Star. Suren calculated that this time should be enough for him to finish everything. When Yun 11 heard this, she shook her head. She had no way out. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 389. On the way, Suren already knew from Yun 11 that the thing called an aerial explosive bomb was not dropped by a few people from the Sky Patrol Division. And they are also curious about how aerial bombs appeared on Blue Star. This means that someone else wants to kill him, or kill the entire South Island. Suren thought about it all the way and realized that the people who had a grudge against him were basically dead. Now no one on Blue Star dares to challenge him openly. Except for one person. That was Archduke Gibber, the father of Weir. Weir was killed by Suren, so only Grand Duke Jibo had the possibility to take action. Regardless of whether the matter was true or not, Suren only needed to find him where he lived and ask. If he really researched the air-to-air explosive bomb, then this person must not be allowed to stay. If he throws an air-to-air bomb to Donghai City, Suren didn't dare to think about the consequences. Suren would never allow anyone to threaten the people in the orphanage after he left Blue Star. Therefore, he must do this. It is also very easy to find the other party. Just do a random search on the internet and you will know the location of the Grand Duke Quibo Manor. In the manor of Grand Duke Quibo. Watching the report on TV, Grand Duke Quibo angrily picked up the remote control on the sofa and threw it at the TV. He's not dead. How come so many people survived? Why? The butler standing nearby lowered his head silently. Grand Duke Jibo was still venting his anger. Even the South Island has sunk. Butler, tell me why none of those people died. The butler heard this and whispered. Grand Duke, if you want to kill an 8th level professional with the power of the weapon, you can definitely do it. However, that Suren is a bit too powerful. I don't know what his strength is. I think it was him who saved the others and allowed them to survive. Suren. Maybe he killed my son. Grand Duke Jibo looked gloomy, not knowing what he was thinking. Just when he was about to ask the housekeeper to investigate everything about Suren, Suren's voice rang directly in the room. Are you looking for me? When the two heard the sudden voice, they looked at the source of the sound in shock. Suren pushed the door open and looked at the two of them quietly. Suren. Why are you here? The two looked at the young man in front of them in disbelief. He was obviously participating in the World Championships in South Island not long ago, so why did he suddenly appear in his manor and walk in so grandly? Guard! Guard, where did he go? Come and catch him quickly! The housekeeper shouted out of the room. However, there was no movement outside. Suren took out his ears and said lightly, Stop shouting, they left early. Don't worry, I'll send you down together right away. Upon hearing this, Duke Gibber said angrily, "You dare to kill me? Do you know who I am? When I stamp my foot, the whole beautiful country will tremble." "Oh, so what? Is it amazing?" Suren looked indifferent. "Goodbye you two, I don't feel at ease that you are alive." Suren heard clearly what the two said in the room, and even recorded it. Now that the real murderer has been found, Suren will naturally not let them go. After turning around and walking out of the room, Suren flew into the sky and stretched out his hand to take a shot at the manor below. Boom! There was an explosion, and the entire manor and the people inside were shattered into ashes. By the time the city's defense forces arrived, Suren had disappeared. Suren's recording was also handed over to the leader of the Dragon Kingdom after returning to Kyoto. How he operates is not Suren's concern. The next day, in addition to the big news about the changes in the World Championship, a recording appeared on major media outlets around the world. The truth about the attack on the South Island has only just become known to the world. For a time, the beautiful country was criticized by public opinion and other countries. As a result, the beautiful country has become a rat crossing the street, and everyone is shouting to beat it. But all this has nothing to do with Suren. At this time, he was drinking tea with Xiao Ding in the chairman's office of Dingsheng Group. "Brother Su, do you really want to leave this world and go to the outer world?" When Xiao Ding heard the news, he still felt a little incredible. This was also the first time he heard that there was such a vast world outside the sky. Suren took a sip of tea and smiled, "Yes, the world is so big, I want to go out and see it, not to mention, I have a reason to go out." Xiao Ding sighed again when he heard this. "With my strength, I have no chance to go out and see the scenery outside. Brother Su, I hope you have a safe journey. If you have time, come back and have a look." Suren nodded. "Okay, I will come back when I have the chance. One more thing, I have to help you get rid of it first." "Huh? Brother Su, what are you talking about? Who do you want to get rid of?" Xiao Ding was a little confused. Suren did not reply to his words, but said coldly, "Nightgu, get out of here." The power beyond the rules enveloped the entire office, and also enveloped Xiao Ding. Xiao Ding felt a shock all over his body, and then a black mist came out of his mouth. Suren looked at this black mist and knew that this was the night poison that the night god had given to Xiao Ding. Suren stretched out his hand and slapped it away. Xiao Ding came back to his senses at this time, looked at all this in horror, and then looked at Suren. "Brother Su, what is this?" He had no idea how this thing got into his body. If Suren hadn't taken action, I'm afraid he would never have discovered it in his life. Suren explained. "Last time you were captured by the night god cult, they put this thing into your body when you were unconscious. It's only now that I have the ability to force it out." "That's it, thank you Brother Su for taking action." Xiao Ding wiped the sweat from his forehead. The thought that he had become someone else's puppet at some point frightened him. In this world, those with great power have too many ways to control ordinary people. All I can say is that it is impossible to prevent it. Okay, let's say goodbye. Suren has obtained the 500,000 energy raw stones collected by Xiao Ding, and it is time to say goodbye to him. "Brother Su, why don't you stay for a meal?" Xiao Ding stood up and tried to persuade him to stay. "No, I have to go to the Lord of the Kingdom. I heard that he has prepared a gift for me. I feel a little bit short-changed if I don't pick something up from him before I leave." Xiao Ding laughed when he heard this. "Haha, too, then I won't keep you." After Suren left, Xiao Ding looked at the empty seats and sighed. How could I be so virtuous and capable that I could get to know such a young genius and even become brothers with him? Xiao Ding thought for a while, smiled and shook his head. My life is worth it. I walked to the floor-to-ceiling window and looked at the bustling city below. Xiao Ding whispered to himself, "Brother Su, your world is the vast and boundless universe outside, and my world is this blue star. Life has dreams, each of them is wonderful. I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife." Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 390. Kyoto, in the courtyard where the king lives. At the pavilion, the king seemed to know that Suren was coming, and had prepared tea and snacks in advance and was waiting. When Suren came, he was stunned for a moment when he saw this scene. "Master, did you know I was coming?" The king smiled when he heard this. "Sit." After Suren sat down, the king ordered the waiting guards, "Send over all the prepared energy stones." "Yes, Lord." The guards took the order and left. The king picked up the teapot in his hand and poured Suren a cup of tea. Then he looked at Suren and asked softly, "When are we leaving?" "In the next few days, I'll leave after finishing the last thing." "What's up? Is there anything you need my help with?" Suren shook his head. "No, I can handle it." "Yakama called." Suren looked at the man in front of him in surprise when he heard this. Upon seeing this, the king smiled and said, "Don't be surprised. This is the only thing you can handle personally. The night god sect is indeed a serious problem for all countries. No one knows what they want to do. However, in recent years they have expanded faster and faster, and their number of church members has also increased. Their strength is already vaguely capable of confronting all major powers. You can help us by taking action against them. If you need us anywhere, just ask." Suren just said the word good softly. "Suren, can you tell me about what you know about the outside world?" "To tell you the truth, I have always been yearning for the outside world. But my strength does not allow me to go out. I can only think about it." When the king said this, he shook his head mockingly, his expression a little lonely. "If you don't know that there is a wider world outside, it's not bad to just be a frog in the well in your own world. However, after knowing that there is a richer and more magnificent world outside, my mentality changed. I couldn't sit still anymore and always wanted to go out and take a look. It's just that he doesn't have the strength of a sword god." As he said, he can only think about the outside world. Suren understood what he was thinking. "Since the king wants to hear it, I will tell you what I know." From the sky and sky empire to the heaven realm above, Suren told the king everything he knew. After listening to Suren's story, the king raised his head and looked at the sky, speechless for a long time. After a long time, the king shook his head and sighed. "Well, I knew the outside world was big, but I didn't expect it to be so big. It's so big that I can't even imagine how big it is. By the way, you said that we are called sinners and this place is just a prison. Why is that? Did our ancestors commit any crime and be exiled to this planet?" Suren actually didn't know much about this question, so he asked Jingling. Because Jingling's body is incomplete, her memory is also missing. Jingling's answer was that thousands of years ago, the two most powerful forces in the Tianyu were in conflict over one thing. These two forces are Wandao Immortal Palace and Wushuan Alliance. As the conflict intensified, the two major forces began a 1,000-year war. Trillions of people died in this war. Countless life stars were beaten to collapse. Within the universe, all life was devastated for a while, and people were in dire straits. In the end, Wandao Immortal Palace did not know how to achieve the final victory. As for the loser Wushuan Alliance, all the strong ones were killed, and the remaining members were marked as criminals and were taken to various planets for imprisonment by the forces led by Wandao Immortal Palace. This is the origin of sinful people. It turns out that we are the losers in the war. After hearing this, the king stopped worrying about this issue. This was something he could not change. Winner takes all, loser for cow. This is an eternal truth. Thank you, Suran. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't be able to know so many truths about us and the outside world. At this time, the guards had already sent over 1 million energy raw stones. So much. Isn't it a reward of 500,000? Suren was a little confused when he saw the doubled energy raw stone. Haha, I'll give you the extra 500,000. Don't underestimate this 500,000. It almost wiped out my family fortune. Okay, put it away. I can help you this time. The future journey is up to you. Thank you, Lord. The king waved his hand. We don't talk about this between us. Maybe I saw it wrong. Therefore, no country has been able to find the headquarters of the night god cult. At the gate of Wanchen city, Chen Yao, who was about to leave the city for a mission, looked up into the air as if feeling something. It seems that the night god used some means to help them solve the problem of nightmares at night. Although he has thought about it, who in the world can break through the 9th rank? But the location of the night god sect is a bit remote. The king stared blankly at the energy that had integrated into his body. See you again when you have a chance. Then he jumped towards the depths of Shiwen Mountain. After Suren handed over the energy in his hand to the king's hand, he stepped out and left here. What's wrong, sister? No matter so much, Suren first opened a wormhole and came to the familiar place of Wanchen city. Everyone shouted loudly, and the sound resounded through the city gate, attracting countless passers-by to stop and watch. Now Suren gave him hope, which made his dusty heart become active again. The king clasped his hands, looked at the direction Suren was leaving, and murmured to himself. Suren looked at the place and found that it was at the deepest point of the Shiwen mountain in the southwest. A figure flashed across the sky quickly and disappeared into the sky in the blink of an eye. Ha ha ha, let's go. Duan Yu, as his undercover agent in the Yagod cult, has been informing Suren about the recent movements of the Yagod cult. Chen Laobo laughed, waved his hand and said. After looking at the Hongmeng purple chi suspended in the air, Suren intercepted a trace of energy and retreated. Thank you, Senior Suren, and thank you, Captain. This place is not protected by a temple, so naturally no one will visit it. I don't know why Yeshen tricked these people into going to the outer world. Suren took the raw energy stones into the pet space and stacked them. Chen Laobo looked at the sky in confusion and found nothing. Suren, thank you very much. After leaving the courtyard, Suren glanced at the location information sent by Duan Yu. No. It's okay. Brother Suren won the world championship. Thanks to him, I, Chen Laoba, will be able to make a comeback. Today, our treasure hunting group from all directions will surely have good luck and everyone will get rich. Master, this thing can allow you to break through the 9th level. Maybe one day, we can meet outside. When Chen Laoba saw this, he didn't think too much. Instead, he looked at the brothers behind him and said. Breaking through 9 turns. Chen Yao shook her head gently, a trace of loneliness flashed in her eyes.